Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Koopalings! Welcome to this week's episode of the Nintendo Shack podcast. My name is Rebecca. I'm joined here, as always, with Dr. Bland Explosion.
Hello.
We have a special guest who is joining us who has been on the Nintendo Shack before, but hasn't been in a while. At least not, I haven't podcasted with him in a while. It is Steven. Why don't you introduce yourself to those who don't know you?
Hello, greetings, Koopalings. Can you hear me this time?
Yes.
Excellent. Great news.
Got through some tech issues. We're good now. Let's
Wonderful.
go, Steven.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here again. Like Rebecca mentioned, I've been on Shack a couple of times before, but it's been, I think, about a year since I've been on. So
About a year, wow.
Yeah, really excited to be back on. And I've never podcasted with both Rebecca and Garrett at the same time. So this is exciting. And Garrett says he's got some really exciting things to talk about today. So it's a good time
me tell you, Steven.
It's a good time to join chat.
Let me tell you, I could have been playing Xenoblade Chronicles 3 at least, I don't know, 8 or 9 hours more. Instead, I delved deep for you audience, all you guys. I really dug in there.
He sent me his browser history. It is like tabs and tabs and tabs and tabs.
He was finishing up
Switch
a
hardware
PowerPoint
stuff
before we hopped on the stream. So
true story. That's not an exaggeration.
Buckle up. It's going to be a long Shack today.
I do have a presentation. Hey, Donnie, Xenoblade. Okay, I think he's gone now.
I just want to point out for those who are listening just to the audio and not seeing us visually right now, how we all accidentally coordinated red today for Nintendo.
Oh, we did. Yeah.
We didn't even do that on purpose, but we're all wearing red.
Garrett, you needed a video game shirt though, because Bex has the Cult of the Lamb. I've got Silk.
Heck yeah! Heck yeah!
Wow,
we got the indies.
Yeah.
Represent.
So, Garrett, what happened here?
My previous 2 colleges I went to, the colors are red. So there you go. That's the coincidence right there.
Nice.
There you go. All right.
We're happy to have you here, Steven. It has been a while, for sure. So why don't you, before we get into all of the stuff about the Switch Pro or whatever Garrett has PowerPoint saved for us, what have you been playing lately on Switch? It doesn't have to be, within the past week. We always talk about what we've been playing in the past week, but since, it's been a whole year since you've been on here, what are some of the things that you've been playing lately, maybe the past couple weeks, past month or so?
Sure. Yeah.
That you've been enjoying.
Probably like the past month, I dived back into Mario Odyssey. Not specifically for me, but actually for my daughter. She's getting to that age where she just likes to press buttons and mess around with things. And I was like, well, what's a great game to just like hand her the controller and let her goof around with? So Mario Odyssey. So yeah.
Wait, how old is she?
She is almost 17 months, so just about a year and a half.
Oh my gosh, that's so perfect. She's gonna grow up with games. I have so many good memories of playing games with my dad when I was a little bit older than that. I was like 3 or 4, but starting her off with Mario, good parenting.
Yeah, so she enjoys it. I'm surprised how little she likes to actually like move, but she loves just hitting like the jump button. So she'll just like reach over and press the jump button. Unfortunately, her favorite button's the home button. So she'll spam that as I'm trying to like play the game for her and just eject me out of the game over and over. But
she likes the screen flipping. You know, it's like, oh, that's actually cooler. All those colors just switch over.
Hey, it could be the screenshot button, and then you can end up having hundreds of screenshots.
I do have hundreds of screenshots, especially if I hand her the Joy-Con. Her fingers just gravitate towards the little share and home buttons on the bottom. I'll move them up to the actual buttons, but no, she drops them back down. So lots of screenshots of Odyssey right now. So that's
is
been
this
fun.
The first time you're going back to Odyssey since it came out?
Yeah, it is actually.
How are you feeling about it now versus when it released?
I think I like it almost exactly the same. I loved it. Absolutely loved it the first time it came out. With the only slight caveat that I was always felt like, wow, I'm getting a moon every like 30 seconds, and that seems a little excessive. But coming back to it, I don't have that same feeling the second time around, which is interesting. But I've loved it just as much as the first time. It's a fantastic Mario game. It might be my favorite 3D Mario game.
Did you collect all the moons or whatever?
I did, yeah. Not
Okay,
this
cool.
playthrough, but the first one, I got everything. In fact, one of my wife's favorite things to do with me at the time was we'd go to Talkatoo and get a hint, and we'd be like, oh, like poke the wall, like what the heck is it talking about? Oh, we got to go get one of the birds and like climb across the wall and stick its beak in the little hole. And she loved trying to figure out just what the hints were and where to find the moons.
Yeah.
I had fun with Odyssey. I feel like it's silly that, I mean, maybe they're still working on it, but that there hasn't been a sequel. Like, where is, I know it takes time to develop these big 3D Mario games, but I don't know. I feel like we're overdue. Maybe I should go back and replay it if you're having fun with it, going back to it again.
Yeah, it's great. I recommend it.
Nice. Anything else, or is that kind of what's been filling your Switch time lately?
So that's been filling a lot of the Switch time, and this isn't a Switch game, but it's a Nintendo game, so I'll mention it as well.
That counts. We do that all the time.
All the time.
I have been playing the PC Ocarina of Time. You talked about, I don't remember how long ago it was.
Yes.
But, there was that Ship of Harkin project that they basically created a decompiler that you could feed it a ROM and it decompiles the code, and then you can run it on a PC, and it's fantastic.
How is that?
I haven't played like the vanilla game, but they've been doing beta testing for the randomizer, and so I've been doing a ton of randomizer runs using the PC port, and it has been super fun.
Nice. That's something that I feel like I really want to dive into. Did you find it like accessible to like jump into all of that?
I did. I had played the randomizer probably 2 or 3 times prior to it, so I was at least familiar with kind of the rules and concepts of it. But yeah, it was surprisingly easy to get installed and running and all that. They've done a great job of making it accessible.
Sorry, which game was this again? I heard it the first time and I just completely forgot.
Ocarina of Time.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. That's what I thought you said, and I'm like, wait, a PC port? They didn't make it.
So yeah, you talked about it. I remember you bringing it up.
Of course. Yes, so. I played that game. I did. Was it like 2 years ago now? Wow. I need to play Majora's Mask now.
Careful, don't say that. You already said Xenoblade. You're gonna say Majora's Mask. Donnie's gonna leave forever.
Yeah, I know.
Wait, Donnie didn't like Majora's Mask?
He always rags on Majora's Mask.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're right. He doesn't. Man. Donnie hates good things.
Yep. And then the very last thing I'll mention before I hand it over, because I suspect Rebecca's going to talk about it too. But I tried the demo for Cult of the Lamb today because Donnie keeps talking about it, and it has looked appealing. Yeah. So Steam has a demo for it, and so I was like, oh, I'll try the Steam demo and decide if I want to pick it up on Switch or whatever. And it was really good. I wish the demo was longer. The controls are excellent. When I had watched the trailers, I was a little concerned that the controls might feel a little sloppy or not as, I don't know, clean. But that was the very first thing I noticed is it was just the controls are very tight. It's very snappy. It feels really, really good to run around with. The demo lets you get just far enough to get like one follower and you fight the very first big enemy. Not like one of the main bad guys, but it's like one of their henchmen or whatever. And so I couldn't really get a feel for the sim side of things, but at least the battle side, the exploration side is really good. I liked it a lot. So
can you explain to me what Cult of the Lamb is? Because I have not listened to Donnie yet.
I haven't listened to Donnie either, so I can give you what I think it is based on the demo and the trailer.
Just give me an overview. Yeah, from the demo. That would be great. Yeah.
So the premise is you are a lamb and you have been captured.
You're a cute lamb. You're a very adorable lamb.
Okay.
It's important.
You're a lamb and you've been captured by this cult of some kind. They don't give a lot of background, and you are being led to execution. And so the game starts, you get marched up to the chopping block, and you get decapitated. And you wake up and you find yourself in front of a chained entity, some kind of godlike being in the afterlife, who says, even though you're dead, you can still serve me. And he grants you his power that brings you back to life. And Donnie says satanic Animal Crossing. It has a little bit of that vibe to it. It does.
For sure.
Anyway, so this god creature gives you his power, and you come back to life and you slay all of the people around you, and then you flee, and you find a mentor who says, hey, I used to be the what do they call it, like the main, I used to have this power as well, and I'm going to guide you. And he helps you find your first follower, and you set up camp. And from what I can tell from the sim side of things, you're going to collect followers who are going to help you clear the area. They're going to chop wood. They're going to mine rocks. You're going to cook food for them. And eventually you get into like, you'll teach them things and they give you stat bonuses. Different followers have different stat bonuses. And so you can kind of curate your followers to strengthen yourself as you go out on these adventures. But it seems to be that you'd have this cycle of go explore, you gain resources and followers.
Garret, it's a roguelite.
Yeah. So the exploration is roguelike. It's random maps. You go out, you have random encounters. It's different every time. You'll find different types of weapons every time you go out that you can pick up and try. So I saw a lot of axes while I was out, but I know that there's daggers and swords as well. Some magic attacks. And so the goal is you need to completely eliminate these false gods or bishops that have imprisoned the god that has granted you his power. And so you do that by collecting followers to get enough strength to go out and take out the big bishops.
You can name your followers and make them however you want, and they can die. You can accidentally kill them. You can purposely kill them. You just want to get all of the
sacrifice them.
You can sacrifice
the Aztecs. Yeah. Oh wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It sounds like a satanic Animal Crossing / Pikmin resource management going on here.
Well, yeah, with rogue elements and cute and very good art style. I have not played this. I stood in line at PAX East for 4 hours with my good friend Mary, who really wanted to play the demo, and that's how I got this shirt. And it's a very cute game, and I don't like to play roguelites, but I really enjoy watching other people play them. And this is a really cute one, and I will probably get the physical version of it someday. But yes, I approve of that one, Stephen.
Yeah, it seems really good. So I'll pick it up in the near future.
Nice. Sounds like
you would like it probably, Garret. But I know you have a lot.
Probably. Yeah.
put that one in the back of your head for sometime later.
Yeah, definitely a sale. And no, I think it's gonna be.
That's a Steam Deck game. That's a Steam Deck game for you.
It looks like a Steam Deck game. Maybe a Switch game. Great. I heard the Switch performance is doable. It's playable.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to watch for a minute because I know they're working on a lot of bug fixes at the moment. So I'm kind of interested in watching for a minute to see if the Switch performance like gets a little better and stuff before I pull the trigger on it.
Yeah. Cool.
Nice. Donnie, yes, it is better than Xenoblade.
No,
even from the demo I've played.
I said Donnie just likes it because it's Devolver Digital.
Well, yeah, that's true too.
I mean, he's got that
Donnie's odds of liking a game go up at least 20% if it's published by Devolver Digital.
There you go. The Devolver bump, as they call it.
I just like it because it's cute. Garret, what have you been up to?
Oh, you know what I've been up to.
Yeah, let's hear it.
That Xenoblade. Oh my goodness.
You finished it now, right?
No, I haven't.
Oh, for some reason I thought I saw a tweet that said you had.
No, Garret will play this for at least 3 more months.
You're not wrong, because I just don't have time these days. Dang it! I have to do so much work outside of work. It's crazy. But during my time, gaming time, yes, Xenoblade all the way. I put about 25 hours in so far, so still, I would say. I don't even know how much I'm through the game. I'm still in chapter 4 now. So yeah, still very beginning. Guys, don't skip the side stuff. This is like, I gotta say, it's like Witcher 3 quality writing and presentation.
So I have to interject for just a moment because I remember listening to one of the last episodes and you were ragging on Torna hard for the side quests.
Yeah, but it sounds like a big difference of side quests.
Love the side quests. I remember you saying that these side quests felt more like the main story. Has that still been the case, as even though you're much further in the game?
Yeah, so the problem with I think with Torna is that they force you to do these side quests that were always quest fetchy. And so you would go and do these side missions where you're it's like, okay, you got to be a monster like 5 times. Okay, you got to find this material, and
Mm,
then you have to do a skill check with your blades. It's like
very
it's just
grindy kind of.
yeah, very grindy, very monotonous. There's no like exploration. Like there's some exploration to it, but it's just seeking out those materials and just making sure you got the right, I don't know, blades. It was just very annoying for me. I think for others, for other JRPG people, I'm sure it's fine. I know a lot of people love Torna. I do enjoy the story of Torna. I like the characters. It's just when they forced me to do side quests in the middle of the main story, I was like, this is like a big red flag to me. Even though it's probably going to be only 3 more hours or something like that, that's like nothing in JRPG time. I just don't like the notion of you put a block right in front of me and I can't get out of it. So
I
I'm
feel like
just
that's
gonna
like not a side
leave
quest
it.
though, if they're doing it then in that capacity.
Yeah.
Like side quests are supposed to be something optional you can do on your own time, like when you want.
Yeah, yeah.
They,
So
they turned it into the main game, but not in a fun way.
right. Yeah. So, anyways, Torna, it's behind me. I played enough of it. I'm good. Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Don't miss out the side stuff. I'm getting so many. So there's these quests called Hero Quest where they introduce you to new characters and they're full on cutscenes. And with your main party, it's like a full on like expansion of the game. It's like if you don't even pay attention to these things, you could totally miss it. And it's such great quality content. It's like you go in, do the cutscene, you do that side quest story, and that hero, extra character, whatever, becomes part of your party. And so you can have at least one hero out with your other party as well. And then it adds another class into your cycling of classes into your party. It's so good. It is so good. Anyways, I believe I want to keep the hype down because I want to beat this game before I actually like admit like it's probably my game of the. I mean, it'll probably be my game of the year until Mario plus Rabbids. I think that's one could knock it over for me. But in terms of writing, in terms of presentation, Monolith Soft is at its peak. And I hope that they bring that over to Zelda because it's so good. It is so good. It is like Last of Us, Persona 5, Witcher 3 level to me.
Wow.
It is
Wow.
very capturing to me. So
I'm going to keep the hype low, but it's like the best game of all time.
It's like up there in terms of story and presentation and writing. That's what I mean. It's those 3 aspects. I'm not saying gameplay. I'm not saying genre or the game as a whole. I'm saying those specific aspects. Monolith Soft is at its peak. It's like they are best in their craft. So
that'll be interesting to see if it does translate to Breath of the Wild too. Because it does have the potential. The first one tried to have the story with the Guardians and stuff, and a lot of people have mixed feelings about it. But maybe if they've got something a little bit more linear and focused, maybe they'll have a chance to really shine in Breath of the Wild too. So that's promising to hear.
Yeah, I hope they really make that mark because I can't think of any other Japanese developer other than Atlas with Persona that can maybe Dragon Quest. I heard Dragon Quest is great in terms of story. Is at that level. It's just so good. But anyways, I'm done talking about Xenoblade. That's
you can come back,
my
Donnie.
rambling. Yeah, you can come back, Donnie. It's been 5 minutes.
I have not been playing a whole lot. I had to go back into work yesterday.
Oh, that's fun.
Next week is my last full week off, and then I go back to school the week after that. So I am like living up the last little bit of my vacation here, like doing all the last things that I want to do, which hopefully will involve playing more games. This past weekend I went to my friend's wedding, so I was also away all weekend. I started Blossom Tales 2, the Minotaur Prince today. I didn't play very much. I played like maybe an hour or so of it. I don't know if y'all played Blossom Tales 1, but it was on Switch and PC, and it is a Zelda clone, and I'm very like iffy about Zelda clones. Like usually I can recognize like when they're good games, but they usually don't like hit that sweet spot for me. But Blossom Tales did. It's super cheap. It's like $15, and it like has all this charm independent of Zelda itself, but it's like the exact same kind of formula, but it is told through the grandfather telling the story to these two kids. And one of the girls that one of the granddaughters is the hero in the story, and there's dungeons and like enemies and items and everything like that, but it is so good. And I think it just came out today, the sequel, the Minotaur Prince. But so far it seems like this one they are involving the brother more. The brother was like being told the story in the first one, but he wasn't in the game, like in the story that was being told. So it seems like they are involving him a little bit more, and I really like it. The writing is clever. It plays really well. The controls are good. I'm excited to see what kind of like items and dungeon designer in this one, because there were some really interesting items in the first one that I thought like, wow, like that would be a really cool Zelda item. There was like a bee medallion or something that you could use the power of the bees on your side and like kind of use them as like a weapon almost. It was very cool. So if you need that top-down 2D Zelda itch, if you have that in your life, an itch for that in your life, definitely check out Blossom Tales. I am having a lot of fun with it. Oh, it came out on Tuesday. Yes. Oh, it came out this week. I knew it came out this week. I couldn't remember what day. I started it today though.
I've had the first one for a long time, and I remember I started it, and it felt like it was really slow, and I didn't quite get into it.
Really?
Did you feel like there was maybe a hump to get over in the first one?
There might have been. I played it when it first came out, so it's been some years. It's not a super long game. It's like maybe 7-8 hours. I don't think it'll take like more than 10 hours to beat it. Like it's a lot shorter than like a typical Zelda adventure. But I really like it. I would say give it another chance if you really like the top-down Zelda style.
Yeah, I mean, I've played every Zelda game in existence, so yeah, I like the top-down.
Then I would give it another chance, or I'll keep playing the sequel. Maybe the sequel will fix some of those pacing issues that you had a problem with in the first one. Okay. I also beat Earthworm Gym 2. I can't remember if I mentioned this last time we talked, but oh my god, what a weird game. I would never be able to beat it without rewinds or save states or whatever. Like I would just get too frustrated. It was frustrating even with rewind. But like just weird. So weird. I think I liked it more than the first one overall, the levels and everything, just because like I'm a sucker for weird bizarreness in games. Like the last level took place on a barbecue grill for no reason. Like, and they're in, Earthworm Jim, you're a worm, and there's like this salt shaker that's following you and does damage every single time like the salt hits you, because if you put salt on worms, I guess it kills them. I don't know. Oh, clever. And like you can distract the salt with a snail, and it'll go after the snail instead. Like it is just so weird. And like you have to hop across like this like I guess like a stove or something, and it's hot, and you have to like turn. It's just like so bizarre. It's so weird. Like I know I probably sound like a maniac describing this right now.
No. These devs were on something.
They were like absolutely. But yeah, if you ever want to feel like you're on an acid trip, play Earthworm Jim. So I beat that one. That's all part of my retro summer. I have a couple more games left to do for that. Cool. But what I really want to talk about is hashtag free product, hashtag ad, hashtag product placement,
show and tell
Colorware. Have you ever heard of Colorware?
I've heard of Colorware.
So they sent me a couple free controllers, and so I just want to show them off. They're expensive as heck, but I got a Super Nintendo themed Switch Pro controller.
So good. Really nice.
It is so beautiful. So like I think what a lot of people don't realize, because they're so expensive, like a couple people were asking me like, oh, like how did you feel taking it apart and putting on the shell? Like you're not buying a shell. Like they send you the whole control. Like they're sending you like a brand new controller. You get it in a box that like is the original box of like the Pro controller that they bought, I guess, like everything that comes with it.
Do they give
And
the
then,
option to buy just the shell, or it's
I don't
only...
think so.
Okay.
I think because it's like custom, like they do it for you.
Gotcha.
And then I also got a PlayStation 5 one, which I did. They have like kind of a
That's
color
very
lab
shiny.
kind of thing. Do you know how like the
Yeah, it's
Xbox
chrome.
controller lab thing? Don't they have something like that? Where like you
I
can
got
kind of
that.
make, yes, it's just like that, where like you can pick like what colors you want. There's like matte and gloss materials. So I got a pink and silver PlayStation 5 controller.
I'm really
and
curious. What is the price for the
So-
DualSense one?
For the DualSense, I'll have to
Just
look.
a base price, just like a ballpark. Like I want basic colorware stuff, because for the Xbox Lab stuff, it's about $100.
Okay, it's a little bit more than that.
Okay.
If you are like doing what I did and you are customizing the colors, like they have different, like this is a special edition one, so it was
special
more.
edition.
But like the ones where you're customizing like the exact colors, the DualSense is $119.
Okay,
so
just a
it's
little bit more
pricey.
than the
It's
Xbox.
pricey, but like
but you got to choose. You designed
I did.
it.
Yes.
That's really
yes.
cool.
And so like what you can do, at least for the DualSense, you can change the color of like the grip, the buttons, the bottom part, and then what do you call this?
The touchpad.
Touchpad.
Yeah.
That one. And then for the Switch Pro controllers, you can do the grips, the back plate, and then the buttons. You can't do like the buttons individually, but so they sent me that and let me test them out. And then I'm going to be doing a giveaway of the SNES. They gave me another one to give away.
Oh, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure you fell in love with that one.
Not mine. But if you like this, it's colorware, like WARE, colorware.
Yeah, WARE. Yes.
So check my Twitter. I'm probably going to be starting the giveaway tomorrow or Saturday.
Cool.
So check my Twitter, like retweet or whatever it'll be, and then they'll pick somebody. So
and out of
could win
curiosity,
one.
have you seen any of the ones, because a lot of companies sell just the shell that you can replace yourself? How do you?
I did that too.
Oh, they're
Yes.
perfect. Do you feel like it
have that
compares
too,
to that, or
over
do you
there.
feel like it's a higher quality than those?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like better quality. Like just the material itself is better than like this little, piece of plastic or whatever.
Mhm.
Like I will admit, like if I can do the replacement, anybody can do it. If you're on a budget, like absolutely, like order a shell, like just be a little brave. You can do it. But I definitely noticed the quality, and then also the grips of it. I feel like are like I picked matte. I don't know if like gloss would be any different, but like if you look at your Pro controller, it's like a little bit smoother and shinier.
Yeah.
This doesn't have that. It feels more like
it's a
somebody
matte
even
feel.
asked me if it was like rubber. It's not rubber, but it feels
It
a little
does
bit
look like
Feels
nicer.
like a
Or-
tennis racket, actually.
Yeah, something
Yeah,
like
the
that.
tennis racket handle.
Like it's a good
like
grip. Yeah.
Carbon, whatever.
Yeah.
Plastic.
So I don't know. I've only been playing it for a couple days, but it feels good. It's very pretty. Price is a downside, but if you have some cash to spend and you need a new controller,
there you go.
I like it. So
Looks very
I'm such a
nice.
sucker for like customization, and I know like a lot of people might want like certain colors that don't exist for like their Joy-Con. They have like Joy-Con stuff like that, but I know some people also don't care at all about the customization and are like, why would you spend extra money to get like a special color controller? But I just
feel
had to
like-
shout that out.
I'm not big on customization. I have very basic controllers, and I love to get like the first one. The shell for my Pro controller was super simple, super cheap. As you said, Rebecca.
That's easy.
You literally have a screwdriver, and that's all you need.
Mhm.
That's all you need to replace your buttons in the shell. And then this one was a nice gift. It was just like, hey, that one custom controller you want, and that's for you. And it's premium, and it feels just more personable to me with that one controller that's customized.
So XGS says that he would spend extra for a drift-proof Joy-Con. I don't know if they'll be drift-proof if you got the Joy-Con, but I did notice that the D-pad feels a little bit nicer on this one. I think they're even using the same one, but I don't know if it's like because it's like
Different
on
shell.
a different shell. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels a little like mushier and not like the buttons like run together. You know how
Would
they
you
do
play
on
a
this one?
classic SNES with that D-pad?
I played Earthworm Gym with it today, and it felt fine.
Okay.
Impressive.
Normally, I hate using the trackpad,
Yeah,
but like that's
I
not a
don't
good game to
like
test it
using that.
on.
Yeah.
That's not a
For
good
sure.
game to test it on. So I'm gonna do a
Gotta
little bit
pull
more
up Celeste
testing.
or something.
I use
I
this guy.
probably
for
still
testing.
would not use this, but I'm gonna do more testing and see.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
But yeah, so I will hopefully be playing many more games on that soon. And yeah, take a look out for my giveaway on Twitter.
Cool.
But yeah, Garrett, why don't we jump into all of the research that you've been doing this week? And
Hold on,
I use the
let me
word
grab my stick
research
out.
nicely. Is it research or is
Nicely, yes.
it a rabbit hole? What is it? Walk us
It
through
is
it.
a deep, dark rabbit hole. This is. Oh my goodness.
Are you going to
Rebecca.
slide
So,
in
okay.
a cork board with the red lines and pictures
Yeah,
and
red
everything?
lines. I'm gonna go crazy. Like I pulled all-nighters. No, I'm just kidding. So I got this inspiration, guys, from actually the Nintendo Drive, right? The podcast from Carpool Gaming.
Yeah, we
Sean
love them.
Capri and Consul Cato. They're good people over there. They've
Good
been
people.
discussing a little bit this week about just what could be the capabilities of Switch Pro. And I think a lot of Nintendo fans that are gamers that, familiar with us and like familiar with the Gameverse, they're just like, well, the Steam Deck it's $500, $600. So the Switch or the next Switch cannot be close to that performance because it's so expensive, right? It has to be cheaper. It has to be $350, $300 or whatever. So it has to be lower performance than the Steam Deck. So our preferences, the Switch we got maybe a little bit better than that, but it's not going to be close to Steam Deck. And I just want to emphasize, guys, that the revised chipset is not going to increase the cost. The only cost that's going to make is just the actual bidding and processing and buying of the chips themselves. Per unit, it's not going to cost more than the original design of the Switch. It's very little, possibly, because it's just a custom. The materials are the same. The custom chips are going to be just a newer technology. The patent's just going to be newer. And so I dug into the research, and me and Rebecca, we go back and forth about Switch Pro rumors, and we're like, oh no, another Switch Pro rumor, hardy heart, and then we just leave it be, right? We just okay, this is what the Pro rumor is. Let's just go. I actually went into and it's like, what is the rumor itself? And can it be true? And if it's not, what could it be? What is this revised Switch gonna be? So I have a presentation for you guys. Hold on.
I love it. Let's hear it.
We'll do what we
Alright.
can to translate it to audio listeners.
Yes, I will. Yeah, definitely. I will translate it to audio for sure. Let's see here. I understand that I need to share whatever. Should I do window? Yeah, I'm not gonna put it in presentation mode because that just messes with everything. Let's see here. How are we gonna do it? Okay,
Ooh,
that's
perfect.
So Dr. Bland's Explosions in-depth super analysis of the Nintendo Switch Pro dynamic super sampling. Okay. And so
But all right, for the audio listeners, there's only 4 slides in this, so we might get out of here in a reasonable amount of time.
yes, 4 slides, and the last slide is literally questions. So, okay. Let's just go through the individual components of the Switch, the Steam Deck, and the Nintendo. That's a little small, isn't it? But you can still read it, right? That table.
I can't see it.
You cannot see it. Okay, hold on. Let me try to make it super clear for you guys. Can you? Gosh,
I can
don't
see it
know.
all right on my side.
It's okay because you're
Okay.
gonna read it for our audio listeners.
I'm going to read it for everyone, for our audio listeners. So anyways, it's a table. It has 3 columns. It has Nintendo Switch. It has Steam Deck specs. And then it has Nintendo Switch Pro rumor specs. What is the chip behind it? Now, I put a big asterisk there because this is not going to be it. I'm just going to tell you right now. This is totally not going to be it. That's just what the rumor is based on this chipset I put out in that column. Okay, so I'm just going to go through just real quick here. Nintendo Switch, Steam Deck price. I'm going to go by Nintendo Switch OLED, which is $349 USD. And then Steam Deck, I'm going to do the lowest price model, which is $399 USD. It's only right now, it's only a $50 difference. Now, Steam Deck, you know what they said, Valve said, they're aggressively pricing their Steam Deck units. So maybe $400.
You think maybe they're taking like a loss on the low end model, hoping that more people buy the
I think
higher end?
so. Yeah, I would think so. If Nintendo had this spec themselves, so they're like, we might sell this for $450 or $500, not $399. That's what I'm thinking. But that's just speculation. It's a $50 difference face value right now between the OLED model and then the lowest version model of the Steam Deck. And then I go through individual components. So the chipset itself is just the name. Okay, it's just the name of the chipset. I know Rebecca's squinting right now real hard at it, just trying to figure out what this is.
I'm trying to read it.
So, okay, chipset. Nintendo Switch has an NVIDIA Tegra X1. This chip was revealed in 2015. Actually,
chip is old.
That chip is old.
That is old.
The first device, or first few devices that actually revealed with the NVIDIA Tegra X1 was actually Samsung phones and tablets, and then NVIDIA Shield. And then they fancied and kind of speculate, oh, it has 4K capabilities and whatever with their NVIDIA stuff. But it's a custom NVIDIA Tegra X1 for a Nintendo Switch. Steam Deck, it's an AMD Zen 2.
Heck yeah.
So this is okay. Team AMD over here with Rebecca.
Strong AMD.
All right,
fan.
Sounds good. Team Red over here. Okay, that chip actually was released in 2019, and so we're at Zen 3, I believe, right now with AMD, and Zen 4 is about to come out later next year. And then the Nintendo. Well, actually, let me just go through Nintendo Switch and Steam Deck first, then I'll go through Pro Rumor because I feel like that's more rumored, so I don't want to go through that. Architecture, Nintendo Switch has ARM v8, which is a 20 nanometer architecture, and then Steam Deck is Zen 2, custom made 7 nanometers. So when I say nanometers, right, that's the length, right, Rebecca? That's the length in the CPU in the architecture set, right? So the smaller it is, the more efficient it is. So 7 nanometers pretty good instead of the 20 nanometer. I'm not going to go into the in-depth analysis of that.
Are you taking notes, Rebecca? I think he's going to give us a pop quiz at the end of this and grade us.
Pop quiz at the end, yes. Okay,
no, this is a Game
CPU.
Tech crossover episode.
Okay, CPU. What does that stand for, Rebecca and Steven? Actually, Steven, you should know this. So
Yeah, I do know this.
Computer processing unit.
You're close.
So
You're
close.
very close.
Computing
Central.
processing. Central. Whatever. Same
Central
thing.
processing unit. This unit is used to instruct all the power behind whatever's going on in the system. It's an all-purpose type of unit. For Nintendo Switch, it has a 4-core ARM Cortex A57. This core specifically was launched in 2012. This core is super old, by the way. And then Steam Deck, it's a custom-made 2019 chip. So this is a 2019 core, 4-core AMD Zen 2. I'm going to go through just a little bit of what the clock speeds were. 1.02 gigahertz for the Nintendo Switch, 2.4 to 3.5 gigahertz for the Steam Deck. And so that is, I mean, if you want to compare it, that's more than doubled. But sometimes it's just more efficient for Steam Deck 2, actually, to run because of that smaller nanometer. I'm not going to go through the L1 and L2 cache. I think that's a little too much because we'll be here forever if I go through that. The GPU, what does that stand for, Rebecca?
Graphics.
Yeah, graphical processing unit. So this unit is exactly for making images on your display. Okay. And Nintendo Switch has an NVIDIA GM20B Maxwell. And this was released in 2015 as well. Steam Deck has RDNA. And then the clock speeds. This one's interesting. Nintendo Switch goes from 300 to 768 megahertz, depending on if it's a handheld or docked mode. So the docked mode is actually boosted. they go actually higher in performance in order to get extra crank out. Steam Deck, it's all depending on how you customize it. It doesn't matter if it's docked or not. The Steam Deck has 1 to 1.6 gigahertz, so again, about double. And then now our favorite parameter, guys, teraflops. Sorry, not teraflops, T-flops. What does that stand for, Rebecca?
Teraflops.
Total floating operations point per second. That's what it stands for.
That was a trick question. You set me up for failure on that one.
It was a little bit of a trick question on that one. Oh, and she just left? Oh, no. You walked out of your class, Garret.
Rebecca left us, guys.
You had your first
Nintendo,
student, drop out.
Yeah, I know. Nintendo Switch, the T-flops is 236 to 393 gigaflops, whereas Steam Deck has 1.6 teraflops. That is 5 times as powerful with the GPU.
Getting my
so
nerd
of course
glasses.
Steam Deck is beefed up. There you go. I think RAM is the most improved and most impressive.
Random access memory.
Hey.
There you go. Random access memory. Nintendo Switch has a 4 gigabyte LPDDR4. This one got released in 2013. Standard speed of 3200 megabits per second and a transfer rate of 25.6 gigabytes per second. Whereas the Steam Deck has a 16 gigabyte, 4 times more, of the next generation LPDDR5, double the standard speed and 4 times the transfer rate. That is a lot. It was actually pretty impressive when they released it too. They thought they were going to have one, I think like a dual channel 32-bit, but they end up with a quad channel, and that improved the performance a lot. And then storage is the same, actually, 64 gig eMMC flash memory. And Steam Deck has an M.2 interface. We don't worry about that. It's the same storage. Mm-hmm. The screen type, although Nintendo Switch OLED, it's an OLED screen, so I think that's better. And then Steam Deck isn't just a standard LCD screen. And then resolution, Nintendo Switch is still a 720p screen. Steam Deck is a weird one. It's 1280 by 800p. So it's just a little bit more vertical than Nintendo Switch. And then the power is about the same. TDP, 0.1 to 15 watts. Steam Deck to 4 to 15 watts. So they have the same TDP, roughly. I'm not saying it's like all the time. But the specs, Steam Deck is 4 times or 5 times more powerful, as I said, throughout all of this parameters here. Nintendo Switch Pro rumor. This is what they have.
And these are rumors that you have found. These aren't, your wish list.
It's not my wish list. This is what I.
Where's it coming from? Is this a multitude of sources or like one dude?
It is multitude of sources that connected to make the same rumored leak all the way back to 2019. This is all connected.
For those keeping track, he does not have a citation slide in here. So
I do not. I do have some asterisks. So when I make this full table, I will put down what those asterisks mean and make a footnote, down at the bottom. Okay, so the Nintendo Switch Pro rumor is interesting. The chipset's called an NVIDIA Tegra Orin SoC. Now, this chip is actually public. It is released in a form called NVIDIA. It's in the product called NVIDIA Jetson, which is actually a machine learning application processing unit. That's it. That's what it is. But
plug and play
the leak
module or something.
Yeah, it's like some type of module you put in servers or whatever. I don't even know. But they advertise it as a machine learning applied unit everywhere. Now, just to let you know, NVIDIA doesn't make mobile chips like the Tegra anymore. They barely make anything for phones and consoles, right? This is very special. This is a very custom for Switch Pro. So the stuff I'm about to point out, I don't know. They just prefer their GPU lineup, I guess. Their 30 series.
Why is this something special for the Switch Pro?
Because this will be a customized chip specifically for one console.
That would be like Nintendo saying, hey, NVIDIA, hook us up.
Yeah, well,
Pretty
if I
much.
remember right, the Tegra X1, the Tegra existed in another form, and then they just slightly
Yeah.
modified it for specific use in the Nintendo
Yes.
Switch. So this Tegra Orin chip is being used in other applications, but Garrett's saying that it will likely be the same. They'll have some slight tweak to it for specific use in the Nintendo Switch.
They'll definitely cut a lot of this down, what I'm about to say. It will run this architecture, RMV 8.2. It's a 5 nanometer, so it's actually more efficient than the Steam Deck architecture. It's more up to date. It's a design in 2019, and it's released in a chip form in 2022 or 2021. So it will be actually more efficient. It's architecture than a Steam Deck, I think. The CPU is an 8. So the actual chipset itself is a 12 core. The rumored leak is an 8 core. 8 core ARM Cortex A78AE, also known as the codename Hercules. And it'll have a clock speed of 2.2 gigahertz, which is very close to the Steam Deck. And then the cache is actually much higher. Actually,
that's
pretty much
double the power of the Switch.
It's double the clock speed.
Double the core and clock speed, yeah.
Yeah, double core and double clock speed. That's the rumor. Okay, the GPU, I think they're going to put this way down. This is not going to be the final one. That's why I put double asterisks there. It's going to be an NVIDIA Tegra Orin T234 GPU. The clock speed is 768 to 1,000 megahertz. That's actually close to the Steam Deck. But this T-flops is impossible. It's not believable. It's 4.1 teraflops. To put you in perspective, the PS4 Pro is 4.2 teraflops. So if you're saying the Switch Pro is 4.1 teraflops, it can do 4K checkerboarding. As you dock, it could do that for PS4 games. I don't think that's going to be real. I think that's going to
be on a handheld. Like that's what they're thinking.
I would say very best case you'd get 2. Like if they manage to leapfrog the Steam Deck, maybe you'd get 2 teraflops.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be, actually, I would say Nintendo doesn't care. I believe it's going to be 1. I think 1 teraflops. I honestly think, okay, and I'll actually explain later after all of this what I think. The RAM, we don't know. They say the max memory is 64 gigabyte. We just don't know.
Yeah. That seems like it'd be really high as well.
Yeah. The interesting thing, this is a 256-bit bus, whereas the Steam Deck is a 128-bit. So double the bit rate transferred to a GPU. That's, I don't know, that's a lot of heat. I don't know if they're going to do that. That'll be double the transfer rate, 200 gigabytes per second. Again, that's the newest DDR5 memory. That's outlandish. And that's why a lot of people are saying, what is this chip? And why do people think that this is going to be Nintendo Switch Pro, whatever? Storage, this is guesses. I still think they're going to do a 64 gigabyte MMC storage. Screen type is interesting. What do you think the Switch Pro screen type is going to be?
I think they got to keep the OLED at this point. I mean, I guess they could do both. I think
they won't do an OLED to put the price down a little bit.
I mean, I'm still of the opinion that the OLED was originally going to be the upgraded model, and then due to supply chain and all that nonsense, they went with just the OLED upgrade and kept the internals the same. So I would lean towards it being an OLED personally.
Knowing them, they'd do a Switch Pro and then Switch Pro OLED 3 years later.
Yep, that would track.
Yeah, that would track. It's just like when you, let's say Rebecca. It's like, you are a Nintendo fan. You got the latest one. You got the Nintendo Switch OLED. You get the Switch Pro. It's the latest Nintendo console. I want it. And then you look at your handheld screen and doesn't look as good.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point.
I think the default's going to be OLED screen.
Yeah, you convinced me.
Pro. Yeah. I still think the resolution 720p. It's not going to go higher than that.
Agreed.
I think it's going to be same size, same resolution. And then the TDP, this is from the chipset information itself, and this is why it is impossible.
Yeah, you wouldn't
15
do
to
that in a
60
handheld.
watts. Yeah, you would not do that in a handheld. You're gonna cut that down so much. But what I gather from this is that this chip, and it's a pretty big chip die set itself too. It's too big for a handheld. What they're gonna do, they're gonna slice this up like crazy. I think they're gonna cut a lot of corners in GPU. I think they're gonna maximize real estate for DLSS, which is dynamic deep learning super sampling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you're able to produce an image. And I think what Nintendo wants, and I want to see if Rebecca agrees with me. Nintendo wants a 4K capable console docked, at least, for first party games. Because the standard TV is now becoming 4K.
Mm-hmm.
And so for a family member or whatever, if you want it docked, right, you know, it's a huge television. It's going to be a 4K default resolution. You want 4K resolution in any way.
I think it's wishful thinking.
Okay, wishful thinking. Okay.
Yeah, I think assuming they're using DLSS, there's really no reason why they can't do 4K. The part where I start to question things is when we throw on the 60 FPS on it as well. That's what everybody wants, right? Everyone wants the 4K 60, but I think realistically, we might be able to expect 4K capable. Maybe not every game takes advantage of it, but then we still probably mostly are dealing with 30 frames per second for most games.
Yes.
Maybe a couple of them can take advantage of it enough to get 60, but I would think most of them are still going to sit around 30.
I totally agree with you. I think the performance will be 4K 30. And I honestly, if it's chugging, I think, I don't know if they would sacrifice, like put frames on it. I think it's just going to be DLSS upscaled. And I think I'm just saying for first party games. I'm not saying for third party. So anyways, I just wanted to point that out. That's the rumor. It's a little too much. The chip is a little too much.
Especially
but I think it has I think it has a lot of potential. I think DLSS, the major edge to this Tegra Orin chip that's based on the NVIDIA 30 series. I think Nintendo's like, we want as much of that to increase our performance as possible in our chip. And it's the cheapest way we can. And there you go. That will be your Switch Pro. So, and I think it has to be an OLED screen, I think.
I think definitely OLED. You convinced me on that part. I'm not so convinced about the 4K, but
okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, for me, it really comes down to if they've got the DLSS, I think it's a slam dunk. There's really no reason why they can't do the 4K because the DLSS, that's just what it's there for.
I think handheld wise, you won't have DLSS as much just because the upscaling is not as beneficial.
You don't really need it.
You don't need it, and it'll be a lot of heat coming from it. But once you dock it and just, oh my goodness, Frisk just jumped right on top of Rebecca's keyboard.
Not know that was going to happen.
But once you dock it, you can crank that thing all the way up. You can crank the clock speeds. You can crank everything and not worry about cooling and just go straight for that DLSS upscale, maybe even checkerboarding or whatever to make it close to 4K. It doesn't have to be true 4K. I'm not saying that. I'm saying like fake-ish 4K, but as close as we can. So there you go. And people think it's going to be released next year. So there you go.
I think next year they delay Breath of the Wild holiday release with this thing.
Yeah. And this is the picture. This is the rumor. This is the NVIDIA leak or whatever of the CPU and GPU together. That's just a Tegra Orin picture, right? You still have 12 cores in there. And that's going to be impossible for Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, that seems overkill.
12 cores?
Yeah, that's for that other product.
Like the default.
Yeah, it's the default. Like that's what's made public. Yeah, in record.
Yeah, so that's what Garrett was saying earlier. Is they wouldn't do that. They would cut it back. So it'd be a modified version of this publicly available Tegra Orin. Yeah.
Questions, comments, concerns, thoughts, ideas.
So, kind of bring us home with just we talked a lot of the technical here.
Yes.
You've played the Steam Deck, right?
I have not actually.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, for some reason
I
you've ordered one. You just haven't gotten one yet. Is that what
well,
it is?
I was chosen to get one, but I am awaiting it out just a little bit,
That's
just
right.
because finances
Okay.
is a
Well,
little much. I want the highest model too. If I'm going big, if I go for Steam Deck.
well, I was curious if you can kind of paint a picture for us a little bit because we delved into the specs. Do you think you can paint a picture at all of what you think the experience of playing on this theorized Switch Pro would be like compared to a Steam Deck?
I think it's gonna be very similar to the Nintendo Switch. It's got to be so familiar. And they actually leaked in projects the name NX name, like in the NVIDIA leak or whatever. So it's gonna be still in the Switch family.
Oh, you're saying that
Whether
the
it's
rumors you looked at for this are still using
Yes.
NX as a code
Yeah,
name for
they're
it.
using code names for NX. So it actually more associated to the Switch ecosystem than ever. So what I think is it's going to be very similar to Switch. I think the chip is going to be updated. I would not be surprised if it's just going to be lower than Steam Deck, like in terms of like clock speeds or whatever. But what Switch has going for them is that it's a completely dedicated to gaming, whereas Steam Deck, it is a handheld, but it's a computer too. It is Steam OS. Like part of its power is for the OS, whereas Switch is going to be straight for the games. So I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be $350 and it's going to be very close to Steam Deck. And I think, Steam Deck, you can dock it to a monitor or whatever and be fine. I think it's going to be pretty good. This Switch Pro is going to be great TV wise, upscaling to 4K to your bigger television. I think it's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, I think my response to that is trying to picture what it might look like is it's going to look probably the same as what we're used to,
Yes.
with maybe some very minor physical upgrades. But I still think the OLED was basically what what they were always planning it to be. So I don't really expect anything physically to change. And it kind of sounds like to me that the experience of playing the games on it will just kind of catch up to the age that we're in. Like, I don't know if you're going to see any big improvement in the way that it runs games. It's just going to be kind of like when the Switch first came out. It'll feel just more up to date. And then with the added bonus, I do think we'll get the 4K if they can get the DLSS in there. I think that would be the big punchline. The one technical spec that Nintendo would run with in advertising is here's our 4K Switch model.
I think it's a familiar term, and I think it doesn't have to be 100% true. This 4K, like, because did you see the boxes on PS5 and Series X? It says 8K in there. Isn't that funny? That's how they advertise.
It does?
Yeah, it literally says 8K.
Yeah. I mean, all you have to do is be capable of doing it in certain circumstances, and you can throw it on the box.
Yeah, that's
how advertising works.
That's how the marketing is. So, and I think it's going to be pretty close for the Switch Pro. Handheld wise, I don't think your experience is going to be better unless you're me, and I know how the performance is going to be so much better. But for you, Rebecca, I don't think there's going to be much difference handheld wise.
Yeah,
because
I've mostly been playing my Switch handheld.
My fever dream is still that somehow the DLSS unlocks more games to 60 FPS, but I'm really trying to ground myself and just be like, just expect 30 and then 4K resolution on the TV. I think that
it is a diminishing returns when you go to those lower resolutions, right? So you're producing a 320p to 720p. That's not much upscaling compared to 1080 to 4K. It's so much more different, and the upscaling is much more improved in that area. Anyways,
can I read some questions from the chat for you, Garrett?
Sure, go for it.
G-Man wanted to know, will there be exclusives to the new model, do you think?
I would be hard pressed if there's gonna be an exclusive. At least in the first, exclusive games, the first 2 or 3 years. And we'll see how the sales go afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a couple games, maybe like Breath of the Wild 2, definitely running better on the new one.
Yeah.
But there's no way they'd release it only on this new system. Assuming they're basically branding this the 4K Switch and not calling it anything more than that, I would be very surprised if we saw any exclusives for several years.
Yeah, I agree.
Edgardo wanted to know, all of this is very nice, but will it come with a Breath of the Wild 2 special edition?
Yes, for Rebecca to buy. That's it.
But will the special edition be anything more than a special dock? Because that's kind of been their go-to, is you get colored Joy-Cons and then a special dock. I think they've done 1 or 2 that had the back plate of the Switch that was special in some way.
Yeah, they had the Splatoon.
Yeah, the Splatoon and I think
the upcoming Splatoon one, the Animal Crossing one.
Animal Crossing, that's what it was. I wish they've done more than that. I like when the Switch itself has a little bit more to it than just the Joy-Cons.
For sure.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You said you canceled your Steam Deck pre-order. Is this the reason why?
No, I don't think this is going to come out for another. I would love a Steam Deck just because I love messing with these things. It's just that, you know me, I spent a lot of time on my Switch these days. There's a lot of games in there I want to play. So why would I dump a lot of money into another console? I mean, I would just be fiddling with, and that's it. To be honest with you.
You're like
Yarden says that Yarden said that he's watching this on a Steam Deck right now.
I hate Yarden so much. Oh my god.
Well, you want to hear a ridiculous story about the Steam Deck? A friend of mine, his computer was DOA on a work day, and he remotes into a work machine. He's like, well, my Steam Deck's just a PC under the hood. So he booted up Windows on his PC and remoted into his office computer and did an entire day's worth of work from a Steam
on
Deck.
his Steam Deck.
So he hooked it up to a monitor. He was using like mouse and keyboard, but the computer running everything was a Steam Deck remoted into his office computer.
Wow.
That's crazy. Yep. So yeah, there you go. Steam Deck is a computer. First and foremost,
and
even
the Switch,
a pretty cheap computer too. If you think about it,
they will not prioritize that kind of behavior for the Switch.
Yeah, it's very aggressively priced computer. They can't go more than $350 for this. I think OLED original Switch will be $300, and then the Switch Pro Rumor will be $350. And they're gonna have to accommodate a lot of this stuff.
With the way inflation is right now, though, like I mean, if we were saying this came out tomorrow, I don't think I'd go less than $400. I think they'd put it at $400, mostly just because of how expensive everything is right now.
I don't think they want to make another mistake the way that they did for the 3DS.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I'd agree too, but I'm just saying,
especially with no exclusive games.
If things don't calm down in the next little bit, I'm not going to be shocked if it comes out at $400. I don't want that, and I don't think it's a good call, but I think it's possible at this point.
Yeah, I just wonder how would they market it, and I think that's their biggest issue right now.
4K stands for $400.
Yeah, that will get like the common gamer and maybe family members into it.
400?
No, 4K capable. 400's a tough sell, though.
It is.
Yeah. Anyways, we're done.
How beautiful will Metroid Prime 4 look on it?
Oh, it will run beautifully. So, if I think it's right, I think like it will be as powerful, maybe a little less powerful than the Steam Deck. And look how the Steam Deck is running on all these games. Look at how it's playing Spider-Man and God of War. I think Nintendo, handheld wise, it could be that performance if it wants it to be. Question is,
I'd still expect just maybe a notch down, but hopefully it comes within reaching distance of the Switch Pro or of the Steam Deck. That'd be really nice.
Yeah.
Any final remarks, boys?
I think we're good.
Garrett, your first class was a success.
Can we get a round of applause for Garrett? Yay! Good job.
That'll be my
Yes.
last lecture.
No, I think it's, I think we rag on all the Switch Pro talk a lot, but, I think it's good to, put that in perspective and kind of look forward. We're more than halfway through 2022. We're talking about it possibly releasing with Breath of the Wild next year. That's going to be here before we know it. So whether it comes into fruition or not, we shall have to see.
Actually, I'll have another lecture on the actual specs of Switch Pro.
When it comes, there you go. Well,
when it comes out.
Save this presentation, and then we'll
I will.
revisit it when the specs come out. Granted,
We'll see what was right.
Figuring out what the specs are actually when they release it is going to be difficult because it's always hard to find the exact specs of Nintendo consoles.
Yes,
that's totally true. All right.
Moving on. What do we
moving on. So, just for the rest of the show, we kind of have a bunch of smaller headlines of games that either just released or games that were announced to have release dates. So, starting with Kirby's Dream Buffet is out now. It released on Wednesday. In case you forgot, it's that $15 eShop only Kirby party game that people are calling kind of, sort of, somewhat like Fall Guys. It seems to be getting pretty positive reception. I'm seeing, on Twitter and stuff. Did any of you try it?
I haven't. You said $15?
$15.
$15.
Yeah, $14.99.
Did they do a demo or anything for it?
I don't think there's a demo, no. But I am going back and forth. I might pick it up. I think a lot of friends are having fun with this. I feel like if I don't pick it up now, by the time I want to, it'll be way too late. Nobody will care about it anymore. I feel like now is the time. People are saying it's a pretty cute party game. You get
Is it just a party game?
It's a party game. It's there's online matchmaking, up to 4 people. Cool. There's different couple different modes that you can play in. Different music unlocks if you have other Kirby game save data on your device, things like that.
Okay, cool.
It seems cute. Seems better than other Kirby eShop games. People are having fun with it.
Kirby party game.
Kirby party game. Wave Race 64 is available now for Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack subscribers. It was announced 3 days ago, earlier this week.
Yeah.
It just went live tonight for all of you Wave Race fans. I've never played it. I will definitely be booting up my expansion pack library this weekend and just checking it out. I like racing games.
Yeah, Wave Race is fun. I grew up on Wave Race. I like it.
Oh, really?
I mean, we'll see if it has aged. I don't think I've played it since the 64 way back in the day, but it was fun. I liked it a lot.
It was like the first game where people were like, "Oh my god, the water looks so realistic."
It was pretty impressive for its time.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. I feel like I mean, like I said, I played it at a Chuck E. Cheese, but now I think of it, I think it's more of the one in Chuck E. Cheese was an updated version or something.
You probably play the GameCube version. There's a Wave Race on GameCube.
No, there's a GameCube version. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it had an actual boat, you get on the boat and it has an actual motions or whatever. That was super fun.
That's fun.
Yeah, I'll check this out for sure.
Yeah. I talked about it earlier. Blossom Tales 2, The Minotaur Prince is available now. Ooblets got its Switch release date today, or yesterday, or whenever, sometime this week. So this was a game, it might sound familiar to you. It did release in early access for PC and Xbox One back in 2020, and now it's getting its full official release on September 1st for those consoles and also for Switch. There is going to be a physical release through Fangamer for those interested. Are you guys familiar at all with Ooblets? It's like
I've heard of it.
Life simulation. It's like a chill kind of thing. It has some kind of dance related. It's like a simulation with dance. It's very like a wacky type thing.
I've not heard of this one at all.
It's like a small group of people are very loud and enthusiastic about this game. So I felt like I had to put it in here. Ooblets.
Why did I think it was a monster-ish catching game?
I think there are monsters as the characters. The Ooblets themselves are like monsters.
Okay.
That you farm them. So it's a simulation game.
I see.
You farm these things. And you battle with them. So it's farming like Story of Seasons and collect and battle like Pokemon.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
They're creatures. You can befriend them, grow the Ooblets, have them perform tasks like farming and machine operating, dance battle with other Ooblets. Garret.
Yeah.
Ooblets replaces combat with a card-based dance-off system.
Oh, let's do it.
You have to play it, Garrett.
We're ready.
So yeah,
Day
September
one.
1st.
September 1st.
Get
Coming up.
excited.
Get excited.
And then my beloved Life is Strange, the Arcadia Bay collection now apparently gets a release date. It is coming out on September 27th. Instead of what were they calling it before? They gave it a new title.
It was just
remember.
remastered collection.
Yeah,
right?
it was just the remastered collection, and now it's the Arcadia Bay collection. So Life is Strange 1 will be on the car, and Life is Strange Before the Storm will be a download.
Yeah. Are you going to get this? Are you going to get the physical copy, I guess?
Unfortunately, yes, I'm going to get the physical copy on principle because I have been waiting for Life is Strange to come to the Nintendo Switch since the day I played it. And I'm very unhappy with how they handled this remaster, and I do not have faith that the Switch version is going to be any good. But unfortunately, it's one of my favorite games of all time, so I don't care how bad it is. I want it for the collection.
Yeah, no, it makes sense for the collection. How about you, Steven? Are you familiar with Life is Strange?
I have never played a Life is Strange game. I know.
It's good.
Okay, here's what you do. You go to Steam, you download the first episode for free of Life is Strange 1, and you play it.
Okay.
It's the original, and you just Life is Strange episode 1. It's free. Everyone go play it.
Your life will never be the same.
Never be the same.
Exactly.
I played it on a tablet. You can do it.
It's kind of like a graphic novel, right?
It's like Telltale a little bit, where it's interactive. You have choice with your dialogue. And then for Life is Strange 1,
there's light puzzle solving.
There's like puzzle solving. Each of them have a special power. So Life is Strange 1, it's all about time, where you can rewind time and make different decisions.
Powers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
that kind of sounds a little bit like Oxenfree, where you get.
It's just like Oxenfree. Okay. Yes. If you like Oxenfree, play Life is Strange.
Okay. Yeah, I really liked Oxenfree.
Yes.
It's good stuff.
Yeah,
but the remastered collection
give the demo a try, then, or the first chapter a try.
Yeah, don't get the remastered one. Go get the free first episode on Steam.
I remember the many issues
complaints
that faced. Yeah.
Yes, it was terrible.
Yeah, which I think they have patched it and they have fixed some stuff, but get the first episode on Steam for free.
Yeah.
And yeah, why don't you take that last story, Garrett?
Sure. It's interesting. So Kotaku, I'm not going to go through and describe everything, but Kotaku released this investigative report about Nintendo of America, and there's some sexual harassment claims, reports, and I know everyone has heard of these types of reports in these companies. I just want to at least acknowledge that it's there for Nintendo. Like, Nintendo's not impenetrable for this type of these type of situations or even accusations or behavior in general. If you are more interested into what the specifics are, you can go and search it out. And Kotaku has the original reporting. They do a lot of great work. They have like 10 sources or whatever about just like the Nintendo of America testers there, the contract workers there, a lot of female testers there that felt a lot of uncomfortable, like kind of a frat boy situation over at Nintendo of America. So if you want to learn more, you can read over there. And just to let you know that Nintendo is just like, we love Nintendo itself, but, at a company, it all depends on the culture there, how it's going to reflect on their employees and how it's going to react. It may not be indicative of their games. So just think about that. Go ahead and read the Kotaku report. I'm not saying that anyone is like, they're going through court or whatever yet, but it's just up there. It's been reported. There's been more reports of this labor union as well. There have been 2 complaints to Nintendo of America this year now. Specifically just Nintendo of America, by the way, not Nintendo Japan, just this office in America. It's kind of, it's weird to see, just like these type of reports come out of our, the company that we talk about all the time. So yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there.
I don't know if maybe I'm jaded or because I'm a woman or what, but this kind of thing I feel like is way more commonplace than anyone really thinks.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised to hear about this. I think every huge company, this is happening to some degree on a small scale or a wider scale, whether it's known or not known. It doesn't even have to be a huge company. This happens on a small scale too.
And it never helps when it's a predominantly male demographic.
That's true. So yeah, I think it's good that people are coming forward and talking about it and getting the narrative out there so that people realize how common this is.
Right. I don't want to go into specifics of it. Again, if you want to know more, Kotaku has the report. You can read it. Yes. And that's that. Mm-hmm.
And that is the end of the news for this week. We do have a few chat questions directly from you. Starting with Adam. He wanted to know, have you all tried the Nintendo-themed ice creams at Cold Stone? And if so, what is your favorite flavor? He says, mine is the Kirby-themed ice cream. There is a Cold Stone at my mall, and I did recently pass by it, and I was going to get some, but I was with my mom, and she didn't want to get ice cream at the time, and I don't want to be that person that just gets ice cream by themselves, so I didn't get one.
I had no idea they had Nintendo flavors.
Yes, they're doing a promotion. There's Kirby, Animal Crossing, Mario, and something else.
Cold Stone.
I see Animal Crossing, Kirby, Mario. I think those are the only three.
Is it just those three? Okay.
Yeah, that's all I'm seeing on their website.
Yes. I would probably like the Kirby one too. I think I would like them all, to be honest.
Kirby sounds like cotton candy. Mario would be like strawberry.
I can tell you. Mario.
What's the actual?
Yeah, so Mario is cake batter ice cream. And it has
so get into that.
And it has blue frosting and rainbow sprinkles. And it has actual cake in it too, like broken up pieces of yellow cake.
I love
it. You can have that one, Garrett.
Yes.
All right. The Kirby one is strawberry ice cream, has actual strawberries, mini marshmallows, and caramel.
I'm going to bank on liking the Animal Crossing one.
All right, here we go. It is chocolate ice cream, strawberries.
Okay, I'm out for all three.
Banana. And
what's your flavor then? Are you just like not liking ice cream in general?
I like vanilla, cookies and cream. Okay, I'm going to out of those three, I'll go with Kirby.
Yeah, I would take Animal Crossing.
I don't like chocolate ice cream.
Go with Mario.
It sounds like I need to take an outing to Cold Stone sometime in the next few days.
Okay, have you seen the boba tea, the Kirby boba tea?
No.
You know what boba tea is in general?
Stop. Okay,
it's the little balls at the bottom. It's like I don't know what are they called again? It's not mochi. What are they?
Are they not called boba? Are they little
Oh,
bubbles?
they're just boba balls. Yeah. Anyways, I've seen Kirby Special Edition boba tea over at Kung Fu Tea. So check that out sometime. Looks super cool. It looks super cute. I think I can share a screen real quick of it. Just a picture. There you go. Oh, wait. It's loading.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't see it yet.
That's really cute.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, yeah.
I would try that.
Yeah, that's the Kirby boba tea over at Kung Fu Tea.
I
don't know if they're still running the promotion, but there you go.
Nice. No, I'll have to try it. I'm like very iffy about ice cream. I'm like maybe mildly lactose intolerant, so I usually have frozen yogurt or like oat ice cream. But I would definitely try it. G-Man wants to know, I asked if there are any burning questions, and he said, burning, you say? Okay, what's the most burning thing you have ever eaten or drank before?
Well, I'm a pretty big fan of spicy food. For example, I have a jar of ghost pepper salsa in the fridge right now that I eat on a semi-regular basis. So
go eat one right now.
Right now.
No, just kidding, don't.
So, and I would say that the ghost pepper salsa is pretty high up there on the spiciest things that I've eaten. So
I love it.
I think that's the only thing I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay, so he says literally burning, and I have a recent thing with literally burning thing. I had some fried chicken that was just out of the air fryer or whatever, and I went straight and like
Oh,
took a huge
no.
bite, and like the roof of my mouth was straight in contact with the chicken as it
Was
was
it
still like
scalding? Oh my
it
god.
was, it was later that day. No joke. I was brushing my teeth, and I just felt the blisters up there. It was so
That's
bad.
horrible.
So
Ouch.
moral of the story is don't do that ever. So that's
My dentist was able to know that I had like hot pizza or something like that, like some kind of hot food the night before because the roof of my mouth was, I guess,
was
burned.
burning.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there you go. Burning things.
I'm gonna take this like the spicy route, and I think I've told this story before, but when I was studying abroad, one of our trips for one of my classes was to London, and one of the days we were in one of the Pakistani districts, and we went to a Pakistani restaurant. And
Nice.
I think I'm like pretty good with spicy food, but holy crap,
It's on
Pakistani food
another
is on
level.
a different level. Oh my god, I was not prepared for how spicy that was. I think I ate like one thing, and
I mean,
I don't even know what I ate.
Yeah.
it's next to India, so
Yeah.
their spice levels are crazy.
When we
Yeah.
lived in Michigan, my wife worked with a bunch of people from India, and their favorite thing to do was take her out to lunch and order for her and just watch how much she would sweat as she would eat what they ordered
Oh
for
my
her.
gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you'd be like, get the mild level. It's like, no, get the mild
See, and
flavor.
I have the opposite problem. Is I've gone to Indian restaurants and I say, "Hey, I want the hot spice level," and the waiter will look at me and be like,
It's like,
"I don't think you want that." And I said, "Yes,
It's like, are you sure?
I do want this." And they brought me the food later, and I swear that the waiter just ignored what I said and gave me
And brought
the
you
mild one.
medium.
And he came back later. He's like, "Is that too spicy for you?" I said, "No, this isn't spicy enough. I wanted it hotter than this." He's like, I can go make it spicier for you." It's like, "Yeah,
Oh my
please."
God.
That's awesome.
So he had to go take it back and bring me a spicier one.
Nice. Yeah, you can handle it then. I can't on that level, but I do like some spicy
Yeah.
food. Goose Days 99 asked us, how do you think the Pokemon who wear clothing got these clothes? That's a burning question.
Okay,
Yeah,
help
I
me,
don't
help me
know
out
this
here. Who's wearing clothing?
Oh, that's a
Like
good-
Hitmonchan wears a shirt.
Pikachu wears a
Um,
suit sometimes, right? Or
I mean, he wears a
Squirtle.
hat, but I mean, a hat's easy to explain away.
I Google, because they come out of their eggs like this, by the way, right?
What?
How do
Like-
they do the cells from their body diffuse and turn
Okay.
into plastic?
Garrett, you played Pokemon Black and White, right?
I did, but like years ago.
Those weird fighting types, Throw and Sawk, they have like karate gear on.
Right. they do
Jinx
have
is wearing
karate
a
gear.
dress.
That's a good one.
Machamp has a wrestler's belt on him.
I see. This is a good question. It breaks all logic in space and time for the Pokemon
Mhm.
universe. They have to have same exact clothing, each and every one of them. 'Cause
I mean,
you
it-
go
And they
out in the
come out
wild.
of their eggs wearing it.
I mean,
They come out of their
we
eggs
could
wearing
argue
it.
maybe biological, right? I mean, universe is a weird place, and like you've got bugs with armor that could look like clothing, right? So you could argue
Ye-
maybe some of these are some kind of special biological armor of sorts.
I wonder, like, cartoon version, you can't tell the difference really texture wise if it's a cloth or skin. So it might be some weird outer shell going on for these clothes,
Yeah.
but it would be very scary to see this in like the Pokemon movie or the Pikachu movie or whatever. It's like real life stuff.
There's a Reddit post that I found on Google
Oh
From
no,
the s-
they went to
from the
logic.
subreddit Gardevoir.
Oh, that's a good example too.
Oh, man.
I wonder if Gardevoir, along with these other Pokemon, are wearing clothes or if it's part of their body. Can I read a few of the
Gardevoir-
comments?
yeah.
Yeah, because Gardevoir has like a dress-like thing, but that's clearly
I
part of
know.
his body,
Oh,
right?
and G the Man has a good one too. Is Machamp has like underwear, like Superman underwear.
That's true.
Sylveon has ribbons. Yeah. Well, I think it depends. Like, so this one says, from childhood, I always assumed it was clothes. Someone said, I'm pretty sure Gardevoir, Jinx, and Gothitel's clothes are just part of their body.
Yeah.
Somebody
that's what I'm
said
thinking,
Machamp's is
biological.
power limiting belt, so it has to be clothing.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
weird.
No. It's, I guess, part of their body. I can't
I'm not
believe
gonna
there's
be
a
able to sleep
subreddit named
tonight. I'm gonna
Gardevoir.
be
No.
going through all, what are we at, 800 Pokemon, trying to figure out if it's clothing or not. You've
Ghost Days
ruined
99.
Mr.
Why did you?
Mr. Rhyme, the
Yeah.
Galarian version of Mr. Mime, has a top hat. Is he born with that? I don't know. Well, he doesn't come out of an egg, though.
Literally messed with my mind.
He gets that upon evolution.
Yeah. It's a horn, right? It's just a very specifically shaped horn.
I'm kind of done with this question. It messed with my head. I can bear Switch specs. I cannot bear with this question. This logic
What? You're not going to have a presentation next week on
about
each Pokemon that has
clothes on
clothing?
Pokemon. Oh my goodness, no!
You should. You should. I'm expecting it.
I thought this was turning into a series, lectures with Dr. Bland.
I
Yes.
would never finish Xenoblade then.
All right. And then to wrap things up, Kyle the Pug says, now that we are 66% of the way through the year 2022, first of all, Kyle the Pug, how dare you? He wants to know, what is your personal game of the year so far? And do you think that will change when December comes through?
I have an easy answer for the second part is yes, it'll absolutely change by the time December hits.
Okay. What is it now and what will it be?
Well, so this is...
It doesn't have to be Nintendo.
This is a difficult one to answer because I don't think I've played anything that came out this year.
Oh, okay. Cool.
I was trying to think of the most recent games that I've played that I really, really liked. And Death's Door was on there, but I think I technically played it last year, at the very end of last year. Guardians of the Galaxy played this year.
Oh, great one.
Absolutely loved it. Don't play it on Switch, but it is a great game. I really enjoyed it. But it didn't come out this year.
Nope.
So, and then there was one more. Oh, I think Arceus, Pokemon
That came out
Arceus
this year.
is the only
came out this
one.
year.
I think that's the only one that I've played from this year. And so by default, if you're going by the rules of it came out this year, it takes the Game of the Year spot.
Did you not play Kirby and the Forbidden Wonderland?
I tried the demo, but I didn't buy it.
It's okay. It's a
Yeah.
Kirby
Did
game.
you not play Live Alive?
I also have tried the demo of that, but I've bought it, and I haven't played enough to call it Game of the Year or anything. So just by default of like how much I've played a game and what actually came out this year, Pokemon Arceus takes the spot. But I can tell you it will very easily be dethroned by Splatoon 3 and Mario and Rabbids.
There you go.
I think you just got both of our hearts with that one.
Yes.
Yeah, mine at this point would probably be Live Alive. And I don't think Splatoon 3 will be a better game, but I think I'm going to put a heck of an amount of hours into it, and it will be my favorite game by the end of the year. Even if it's not the better game.
It's kind of designed to be an hours sink.
Yeah. Multiplayer focus.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of Splatoon fests. I can't wait. Splat fests.
No, it'll be great. Looking forward to trying out the demo
Splatoon
next
season.
Saturday.
What team are you joining for that? Which I found out, by the way, my friends told me today that August 27th, which is the day of that Splatfest, is National Rock, Paper, Scissors Day.
What?
Which is probably like, I don't know how they timed this to be that way, but I'm picking Team Rock.
I'm picking Team Rock as well.
I think I might have to go paper. Yeah, it's too intellectual. It's the matter of paper is how we've recorded all of our knowledge and how we've reached the pinnacle of society that we live today. And I don't know how you do that without being able to write things down on paper.
Steven, I can break your head with a rock.
Before they recorded history on paper, they recorded it on rocks, and that is forever.
Have a point.
We see that forever. The paper's not going to last forever.
But we don't do it on rocks anymore.
No, but what's going to last longer?
The rocks or the paper? Who's it going to be?
Depends on if you wrap the rock with paper, right?
Yeah,
I never understood that. How does paper beat rock?
Right.
it just covers the thing. I don't know.
It hides it from
So.
view, and therefore it doesn't exist.
Therefore, it wins. But yeah, Team Rock for me.
And then
Oh,
your favorite game so far, Garrett?
Yeah, game so far.
Xenoblade.
I want to say Xenoblade, but I feel like it would be a disservice to other people that has actually beat the game, because I know it gets a lot better. So I'm gonna say Xenoblade most likely, but Nobody Saves the World is still really up there. I
That come out
really
this year?
enjoyed that game.
Mhm.
That came out this year. Yeah.
March or February or something.
Yep. I actually yesterday played it with a friend of mine via co-op, and it just reminds me of how good that indie game is. It'll definitely be my indie game of the year. What's gonna beat it is Mario plus Rabbids.
Mhm.
I honestly cannot wait for that one. Like, I'm just ecstatic.
You know what should
yeah.
have been my game of the year at this point is Advance
Yeah.
Wars. That should have
Cool.
been my game
That's
of
true.
the year right now.
It should have been.
Did you see that was one of the many games that they had online maintenance for like a week or two ago?
Donnie
Yeah.
had the
And
gift,
people
"Don't
are like,
give me
oh my
hope,"
god, it's
or-
happening.
Maybe.
I know.
I'm not
Anything
getting my
Advance
hopes
War
up.
related. Yeah.
Sorry. Maybe next year.
Maybe next year.
All right. That is going to do it, Koopalings. Steven, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Was there
Yes.
anything that you wanted to plug or pitch or remind our audience about where to find you?
Well, I'll just say thank you very much for having me. It was awesome to be here and enjoyed Dr. Bland's first lecture, and
There you go.
had a great
First
time.
of
So
many.
I'll just say I'm going to plug the Nintendo Shack because that's the best place to be hanging out on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
So come back again next week, and if you want to chat with me more, check out our Discord. I'm a lurker in the Discord, and if you say the
Nice.
right words, I'll come out and have a very in-depth
Say,
conversation with you.
What are the words that can be used to summon you?
Oh, well, let's see. Mario and Rabbids is a good one. Chrono Trigger, that'll bring me out.
Heck yeah.
Zelda will do it.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah, but not everyone likes my hot takes on Obi-Wan Kenobi, so
You got some hot takes on Star Wars, yes.
I do have hot
I
takes
see-
on Star Wars.
Well, I feel like Star Wars, like, everyone goes everywhere with it. So
Hmm.
yeah,
That is true.
There's a
I
lot
have left a lot of hot
takes
takes in the
Yes.
movies TV channel lately.
Join our
think
Discord, everybody.
yeah.
I've alienated
much.
a few people, I think, from that channel.
All right, Koopalings. We will see you next week for hopefully some more exciting Nintendo news. Reaching the end of August. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. All right. Have a good weekend, Koopalings, and we will see you next time. Have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.